Good morning. It is January 8th, 2019 in Northeast Arkansas, just across the river from Memphis, Tennessee, and Northeast Arkansas here. And I'm in the greenhouse, and I'm going to be doing one of many soil tests. Most people that have done any gardening, any farming whatsoever, are at least familiar with the concept of soil testing. And most times that involves taking a sample of soil, bagging it up, boxing it up, and sending it off to a lab someplace. We're lucky in Arkansas, very, very lucky, in that once a year, I can do a soil sample, take it through my county extension agent, send it off, and get at least a basic soil test report for free. I know in a lot of other states, even though it's inexpensive, it may be $15, $20, $30. That's still, an expense. And at least in Arkansas, one soil test. Now, I don't remember if I was a farmer and I had multiple fields, if I could get every one of them for free. I know you could send off multiple ones, but I had to get a hold of the extension agent to see if every one would be free. But in any case, that's one test. And I might do a video on that, kind of what the report is, if I can ever find my report. And even the lab test, there are many different ones. You can send them to different labs to get either more intensive, more rudimentary. Is it focused on different things? There's another soil test that can be done where you take a jar and you take a sample of soil, mix it up real good, and let's say if your jar is about that tall, put about that much soil in it, or half of it, 2/3, whatever. Probably the more the better. Top it off with clear water. Shake the bejesus out of it, really mix it up good, set it on a countertop or any place and let it settle. And the heavier stuff will settle to the bottom, medium stuff to the middle, and finer stuff to the top. And in that way, you can get an estimate of how much of the three main mineral pieces of the soil there is, whether it's sand, silt, clay, and then usually organic material will be on the top. But the combination of sand, silt, and clay is what gives you a soil texture. That when people talk about sandy loam, then what they're saying is their soil is primarily sand and loam texture, but mainly on the sand. If there's more clay, then it might be clay loam, or it might just be pure clay. And by doing that little jar test, you can estimate what percentage of the soil is sand, is clay, and is silt, and look that up on a chart. You can Google just the soil texture triangle kind of thing, and it'll be a picture of a triangle with clay on one side, sand on one side, silt on one side, and you just kind of match up at least two of the three percentages based on what you saw, and then you can kind of get an estimate of what kind of soil that you have. This test is something that will give you another rough estimate of that same thing. The one good thing about this is it's a lot faster, and it's just another way of doing it. So you can Google, and I'll put a link in the bottom to where I got this particular one, but there are flow charts, and you kind of work your way through it by starting. So it's soil texture by field flow chart. And I think this came from the NRCS. Place approximately 2 teaspoons of soil in your palm, add a few drops of water, knead the soil to break down all the aggregates. Soil is at proper consistency when it feels plastic and moldable, like moist putty. Okay, so step number 1, and I have got a bucket of soil that I dug up from the community garden. See one of the prior videos. So I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit. And the soil out there, it's a community garden. It's been a residential lot for many years. No actual house on it, but it's just been a lawn, and the city's been working on it as far as getting it cleaned up and looking better, but mainly just mowing it and knocking the weeds down and some stuff like this. So where I took this sample from is an area that has not been tilled. It has not had anything planted in there, anything other than grass. Okay, so it's been mowed, it's been rained on. It's been raining a lot lately. I don't think we've gone more than 2 days without raining in several weeks. Kind of joking with somebody that it was some proper Scottish weather. The only problem is we're not in Scotland. We're in Arkansas. So anyway, I put this in the bucket yesterday, put a lid on it so it wouldn't dry out too much. In any case, couple tablespoons. Okay, so I've got a couple tablespoons of the soil. I'm dropping it all over my little sheet. Okay, does the soil remain in a ball when squeezed? So I'm going to squeeze it and see if, now I've added no water to this. Like I said, it's been raining, but it's been in this bucket. It was not raining when I pulled it up, and it's been in this bucket half a day. So I've done nothing to it. It's a ball. Okay, it's not falling apart. Now, if it would not stay in a ball whatsoever, then I would either add some water to see if I could get it into a ball. Because if it was just, if I was doing this in the middle of August, it would probably be really, really, really dry. So I'd be needing to add water. The question is, can I, at any amount of water, get it into a ball? And here I have, and I've added no water. So, sorry about all the background noise. I live on a busy street, and everybody seems to think that this is the NASCAR racetrack around here. Does the soil remain in a ball? So I'm going to do my flow sheet. I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to go down to the next step. Place the ball of soil between your thumb and forefinger, gently pushing the soil with your thumb, squeezing it upward into a ribbon. Form a ribbon of uniform thickness and width. Allow the ribbon to emerge and extend over the forefinger, breaking from its own weight. So the first thing, so we're trying to make a ribbon, and the question is going to be, does it make a ribbon? And if it does, how long is that ribbon before it breaks? So I'm just kind of squeezing it. I'm not trying to force it up. Just kind of squeezing it. And I would say that is making a ribbon. And it's making a rather long one. Okay? Now before I say anything else, what do you think, just off your own top of your own head, between sand, silt, and clay, what do you think would enable it to make a long ribbon like that and hold together? Just kind of think about that for a second. Does the soil make a ribbon less than 1 inch long before it breaks? No, it's longer than that. Does the soil make a medium ribbon 1 to 2 inches long before it breaks? I would say that was at least 2 inches. I mean, 2 knuckles, old farmer's way of checking length or depth, each knuckle is about 1 inch. So it was easily 2 knuckles or more longer. So, does the soil make a strong ribbon greater than 2 inches long before it breaks? And I'm going to say yes, as my pen breaks. But I'm prepared. I have a second pen. Okay, so that's the first part. It will hold in a ball, and it will make a ribbon over 2 inches long. Okay, so the next test. Excessively wet a small pinch of soil in your palm and rub it with your forefinger. Okay? So I'm going to take just a little bitty bit. And I'm going to wet it. Now, I try to eat as healthy as I can, but I am just addicted to Mountain Dew. I don't know why. I keep trying. I haven't had any today. I don't know how long it's going to last. But anyway, so this is actually one of my water bottles out here in the greenhouse. I just take these bottles because I have them free, poke some holes in there, And I got a weight of water. Use any size bottle with that. I've seen people use gallon milk jugs. Put a bunch of little bitty holes right around here, and it's got a handle on it. Great for kids learning how to water. Anyway, back to this. Excessively wet a small pinch of soil in your palm and rub it with your finger. Now, what we're testing for is, does it feel gritty or does it feel smooth? And gritty being, does it feel like it's sand, just some wet sand in my finger? Or does it feel smooth like I've got flour that I've wet? That's what I'm trying to check. Let's see here. Okay. I've got a little bit here. Put the water in there. Just really kind of it doesn't have to be very much. I probably even got too much in there. But if you can see, I made a slurry basically. Just made a slurry. And I would have to say that there is a little bit of grit, a little bit of sandy grit in there. A few little particles, but for the most part, it's more smooth than sand. It's not pure smooth, but it's definitely much more smooth than sand, than gritty. Okay, so then it says, does the soil feel very gritty? Nah, it's not real gritty. Neither gritty nor smooth. Does the soil feel very smooth? Okay, now I'm having to look at this chart a little bit, the way they've got it laid out. Okay, now on this chart, when we were going through about how long the ribbon is, it's going to end up with 3 columns. I ended up all the way over here in this column. Does the soil make a strong, greater than 2-inch long ribbon? So then, when I'm doing this grit test, I need to go down that column. Not these, I need to go down that one. So does the soil feel very gritty? And I'm going to say no. So I'll go down a little bit more. Neither gritty nor smooth. Does the soil feel very smooth? I had some grit, but not completely smooth. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And so they're going to say it's clay. So at least for that sample, the vast majority, or the primary texture of that soil is going to be clay. Now, I'm sure I could take some additional samples. I could do it just from the topsoil. I can get different results. This is not something hugely scientific, but this is just like a quick field test. I mean, you can be out in the garden, you can be out in the field, grab a clump of it, mix it up, have a water bottle with you, and basically, can you make a ball? Can you make a ribbon? How long? How gritty is it? And then, especially with more experience, you'll be able to do it faster and probably estimate better. Now, go ahead and send off to a regular soil test, and it will also tell you the level of each one, and it'll be extremely accurate, more accurate than we can do with this or for the jar test. But use this one, use the jar test, use the soil test, and between the 3 of them, you'll not only get a more accurate result, but you'll be able to estimate it better over time with more attempts. With that, since I am out in the greenhouse, I figure maybe I'll just I'm going to do some snapshots and maybe tack on the end of this and kind of show you what I've got growing out here. This is a brand new greenhouse to me. I put up, it's one of the little Harbor Freight ones I got on the deal, and I've still got some things to do, and as far as getting it all set up. I've done some modifications to make it a lot more stable and sturdy. But anyway, I'll show you some pictures of maybe what I've got in here.